What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Wake and Jake. Myself, Beebs, back in the studio. Xander Bogaerts. You don't have to say it with that accent anymore. Xander Bogaerts is out of Boston. He is going to the San Diego Padres. 11 years, $280 million. Sheesh. Everyone's always going to talk about Judge and the bet on himself because he fully bet on himself and then he broke the home run record. It's going to be, as contract gambling-wise things go, you may never see something like it. Hey, Xander Bogaerts, not far off when you tell the story in a few years. Xander, not as big of a gamble. He just went out and he had a really nice year, which he's 30 years old, and he's had a lot of really nice years, so good for him. Xander Bogaerts, his Fangraphs projection, so this was after his full season, was 6 years, $168 million. He got 11 for $280. Judge's projection was $300 million. He got $360. Xander Bogaerts, man, free agency is a lot about timing and needs and everything, and I will get there in a second. But Xander Bogaerts, Judge's bet will be talked about a lot more because of the significance of it. Xander Bogaerts, who knows what offers he fully turned down from the Red Sox? We'll get to them in a second. Boston, what are we doing? Xander Bogaerts, the Padres ran into each other. San Diego lost out on Judge. Who would have thought they were going to be the big challenger for Judge? There was two teams in their division that we thought were going to be a bigger threat for Aaron Judge than the San Diego Padres. They came out of left field for $400 million after they lost out on making Trey Turner the highest paid shortstop ever. Ever. He goes to the Phillies. He turned down more money from San Diego. Judge turned down more money from San Diego. Xander Bogaerts did not. The Boston Red Sox got caught in the crosshairs on this one because San Diego was out to get someone. We saw Kenny Rosenthal in the hall briefly the morning after the Judge signing, and he gave like a look in his eyes like Preller will not be stopped. He's going to get someone. He's got the thumbs up from the owner, and Preller's going to go. Xander Bogaerts ends up being the guy, and now San Diego's infield, Cronenworth, Bogaerts, Machado, and Ha-Seong Kim, with Tatis floating around when he comes back, probably outfield. So congrats to the Padres for having the money to go out and get their man. Crazy for Xander Bogaerts. It's incredible. It's incredible. Now, San Diego, are they done? I don't know. They were going to offer Judge $400 million. So do they have $120 million left to spend? I know it doesn't exactly work like that. But San Diego, I doubt they're done. Or you'd love to see them take a chance on one of the wild card free agents left, like a Michael Conforto or something like that. He's still looking for a home. It feels like Mets or another contending team should take a shot on him. Or I don't know. I guess if you're a mid-level team, if he clicks, awesome. And if you're winning, good, or you trade him, options there.
Yeah, he only wants a one-year deal. So if you think you're on the fringe and you can try to go for it, make him your starter. And if he's good but you're bad, flip him for something.
Now, the Boston Red Sox. Whoo! Xander Bogaerts has been an incredible player for them. Basically a 6-WAR season last year, 35 career WAR lifetime, a 10-year sock at this point, called up in 2013 as a 20-year-old. Played through last season, that's 10 seasons. Half of them he won the Silver Slugger. 4-time All-Star, 2 World Series with the Boston Red Sox. Man, I know that when he came up and you go back to some of those younger Red Sox teams when he was the new guy, he was the kid on the team, you said a few guys' names before you said Xander Bogaerts. I mean, 2013 when he gets called up, you're still talking Pedroia, Ellsbury, David Ortiz. You're talking old Red Sox core. And then, 2018, I think he's, Devers was the up-and-comer. Mookie was the dude. And then Benintendi and Bogaerts, those guys were there. Benny had the big catch in the playoffs. Xander's been one of the dudes, but at the same time, kind of playing at a Hall of Fame level. If Xander Bogaerts had signed this contract with Boston, we'd be talking about him like retired number, and it's done. Now it feels like that's out the window. So let's circle all the way back on Boston. I had a episode this season of Talking Baseball where I just kind of had this realization. We started doing midweek topic episodes. We were doing the recaps on the weekend, midweek topics. And they were like, Jake, what's your topic? He's like, I think the Red Sox and Heim might be in trouble soon. And Red Sox fans might get pissed soon. And Jimmy and Trevor both, partially rightfully so, came at me because they were like, dude, they got a recent ring. The fan base can't fully go nuclear. Well, let's see where we are at the end of this offseason. Let's see where we are, mid-season next year. But if you're Boston, last year was a tough year. And then 2020 was kind of a fake year for that whole team as Correa was gone. But the Red Sox, they finished last in the East this year. Last, behind the Orioles. The Orioles are going to get better. There are a lot of young, talented players. They signed a guy like Gibby. They're trying to get better and have a lot of youth along the way. Grayson Rodriguez is supposed to be a special kind of guy. We'll see.
Making some smart complementary moves.
The Rays. The Rays are going to raise. You'll get a full season of Glass now. They're retooling things, but you just believe in what that organization has done. The Blue Jays are supposed to be in their window. We know all that young talent. And the Yankees, they won 99 games. They just brought back Judge. They're kind of the same team they were, and they're still in the market for a corner outfielder. They're supposed to be one of the leaders for Rodon. We'll see. But if you're the Red Sox, if you're staring another 4th or 5th place finish, and now Xander's gone, and Mookie's been gone, and Devers' situation doesn't seem clear. And by the way, what do you think's happened to his price tag the past couple days? We've heard all these talks about Boston. Will they extend Xander? Are they going to extend Devers? And then, a lot of the rumors there was that Boston was never in the ballpark, kind of, for the extensions. And what does that mean? Because this free agency, the first free agency after a new CBA, guess what? The price has gone up.
What were they offering?
They
were having conversations with them. There were some, if you're a Red Sox fan, there were optimistic rumors in the morning.
I wonder how this changes things. So on the flight over, the Red Sox signed Yoshida, corner outfielder from Japan. Hey, here's what I'll give you. If the Yankees signed him, I'd be half excited, half scared, and that's what Red Sox fans should be. The guy could be a stud. The guy could be a dud. The answer probably lies somewhere in between, but either way, it's going to be his first year. Tough ask. Hey, maybe the kid's a stud. And I tweeted out, I was like, what is Heim doing? Because I was pretty adamant that their first move of this offseason was either going to have to be Xander comes back or Devers extension. Because, those would be two big things for Red Sox fans. Either Devers is going to be here for the next over a decade. Look at the contracts we're giving out, 11 years. Devers is younger than those guys. So I thought that should happen. It hasn't. So they signed Yoshida, but they've lost Xander Bogaerts, who is your everyday silver slugging shortstop. I didn't love his defense at times, but it also wasn't a massive hindrance, and he was doing enough on the other side of the ball that you don't really care. That's what you're getting. Their lineup right now reads Yoshida, Verdugo, Devers, Story, Hosmer, Casas, Kike, Reese McGuire, Christian Arroyo. Story they made a bet on, and last year didn't look great. Hey, maybe year 2 is better. He's more adjusted to the league. Maybe there's a Giancarlo Stanton effect remember his first season, and then when he saw some of the pitchers more, felt a little more comfortable. Maybe there's a Trevor Story, boost from what he was last year. Yoshida's just a straight wild card. I know, I've heard my guy Joe's talk about how he thinks he's going to be a stud. He loves his contact tool. I heard John Boy say, I'm out on this dude. I think he plays bad defense, and it's, a lot of these hitters don't click. We have no idea. The guy could be a star. People didn't think Ohtani was going to hit in Major League Baseball, and he's incredible all around. People thought he might be a 3-star. Baseball scouting is very weird. So, I honestly don't know. Maybe the guy is a star. And if you had added him with Bogaerts, because Red Sox fans were mad at me on the plane, because I was getting a couple baseball tweets out, and they were like, dude, why do you think we're out on Xander? There's actually, where there's smoke, there's fire, and the Xander rumors are picking up. I think they picked up in a hurry because the Red Sox kind of had a sneaky, let's be all quiet Bill Belichick plan. And I think that plan has gone out the door, mostly because of the San Diego Padres. My goodness. Again, they were the runners-up to Judge with the highest bid, $400 million. Without that, I don't think Judge gets to 360. I think the Giants' highest bid was a 320er. So, and again, Judge took less money to stay with the Yanks. That became full-blown official. Announced. Happened. Boston and Heim. I think the solution at this point, and I don't think it's going to happen. My first thought on the plane was Dansby. Dansby can kind of have the Boston vibe. He's got the hair. He played in the NL East with Atlanta, goes up north, still looks good in red and blue, the little things there. And it has gotten super overlooked, this free agency. Dansby was awesome this year. Awesome. His career stats aren't there, but he's gotten better every year. I know his arm strength is weak, but he still played a great shortstop all year.
He does the picking it part really well, which that part's shift-proof.
Almost as good as anyone. I think he won the Gold Glove this year. I know that doesn't mean what it used to, but it means Dansby Swanson played a pretty damn good shortstop this year, while also hitting 25 homers. He had a 115 OPS plus. The stat line isn't flashy, but also if you get rid of some of his early numbers, Dansby Swanson as a ball player looks a lot better. So I thought maybe that was it. Maybe they didn't love Xander's defense at shortstop, which I've been a big thing of. I said many a times, I think he should get a bigger contract than Dansby, but almost as a third baseman. I think he'd be electric over there. Dansby, I know people are scared of the arm. I think he has a chance to stick at shortstop because I don't know all the throwing numbers. I mean, maybe he's a timing guy and it always syncs up. Maybe he's got more in the tank. Maybe he doesn't fire it over. Maybe it is a noodle and it's going to wear out. But from what I can see, Dansby Swanson plays a very good shortstop right now. Peter Moylan would swear on that. He calls their games. So I thought at first maybe Dansby's the answer for them. They signed Dansby. They trade a little defense for a little offense. And again, Dansby's done some big boy things playing the game of baseball, especially recently. And then you have Yoshida, and if he clicks, you've got Casas. Story gets better. There becomes a path for the Red Sox to get better and improve. By the way, they are currently missing Nate Eovaldi from the rotation, who he was essentially their one last year. I know it wasn't great, but and then there's been a name this free agency that everyone's kind of been doing the no idea. It's not Brandon Nimmo. Nimmo's going to have offers. It just doesn't feel like teams are super excited, but he's a really good outfielder. The Judge thing had to happen, and now we'll see where Nimmo lands. Hey, where Bogaerts landed, 280? People thought Bogaerts was going to get $8 million more per year and one more year. Bogaerts got 5 more years than that and over $100 million. Brandon Nimmo might end up around $200 million, and we'll see what team it's for. But either way, it's not him.
Dude is really hit. It's not him.
It's Carlos Correa. I know it's scary. And, the Houston thing's always going to linger. There's some fans that'll always hold that over. Especially a lot of Yankee fans have wanted to sell out for Correa and bring him in and have him be the answer. The Dodgers just came out and said they weren't going to do it to their fan base, which, by the way, I think is total BS. If you think you're bringing in the best player for your team, you're going to do that, and I think the fans will come around if you think that guy's going to let you win the World Series. The Boston Red Sox. I mean, Carlos Correa can still do it on both sides of the ball. He's a beast. He is younger than Bogaerts. He was projected to get the third biggest contract this free agency. But no one knows where he's going to land. Like, you thought the Yankees could be a suitor, put everything aside, but their top prospects are coming out. Dodgers are out. I mean, Padres have to be out, right? We'll see. The Twins have supposedly been in, and he said he enjoyed his time there. The Cubs, right? The Cubs are supposed to be searching for a shortstop. Why not Boston? I tell you what, one of my Jakey signature lines that I don't know if I stole it, but maybe I've just used it a lot more. Do what the other team doesn't want you to do. BBD, what would your reaction be if Boston signed Correa?
Eek.
Yeah, it's
in Fenway.
You understand that you're letting the wolf inside the hen house a little bit. But also, if Carlos Correa comes up in the 8th inning with 2 on,
there's like some Yankee Red Sox deep-seated stuff in me that is also like, well, that feels right. So
right. Well, but it
feels right.
That's the other thing. Does Carlos Correa not love being the bad man to the New York Yankees? Like, if you're Boston, you don't have to worry about that. Like, big games and playing in Boston, that's out. You get a guy who on a given year could be the best defensive or offensive shortstop of this crop. And I don't know, man. If I'm Chaim Bloom, and I think my season is on the line for next year, and I have a chance to get Carlos Correa at maybe a more similar number to Trey Turner or Bogaerts than we would have thought. But there's some concerns about his back. We've heard that from Inside Baseball. He had a weird free agency last time. It could have just been an agent thing. And maybe we're about to get a bomb that's something ridiculous. 13 years, who knows? But if you're the Boston Red Sox, if you're going to lose Xander, and you want to compete next year, I don't know if there's any other free agents that I really look at and say, well, that brings Boston right back in the game. So I don't know if I'm wishing this, hoping it doesn't happen because it's the Red Sox. It's probably a good for baseball thing, but otherwise, it feels like we're walking into, there was a Yankee complaint for a little bit. It's kind of gone now, especially with Judge. But, being a smart GM is the thing nowadays. And I know that sounds dumb, but being super smart, getting the bargains, having the Tampa Bay Rays formula and having that in Cleveland or having that with the Yankees and the Dodgers, and so you could spend money on it. Chaim, if there was a free agency that you were going to have to overspend, it appears to be this one. Owners have their money back. There's a new CBA.
Traditionally, first-year CBA money, the spending goes up, and this is followed.
Because I just don't know. I like believing in young guys, and maybe Casas is a beast, and Brian Bayo. They added a couple bullpen pieces. They need a Correa, even Dansby, and then you could start talking yourselves into things. But otherwise, nervous times.
Now there's I'm looking at Carlos Correa's splits by ballpark. Just Fenway Park, advantageous to righties. We know that. 2 stadiums. He's sorted by number of homers. 2 stadiums have been his home stadium. Throw those out. Tied for first outside of that. or the top 3 outside of that are 2 places that were in his division for a very long time, and Fenway Park and like half the games. So
Okay. Correa, Fenway, don't want to see it. Might see it. I don't know. There's been no rumors, but I think Boston likes that. I think Boston likes
Red Sox fans, you should want it.
Sound off in the comments.